Hello and welcome to the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Nina Adio, a social media marketing expert specific to the wedding industry. On this show, I discuss tips to help you DIY your social media, as well as getting the confidence and income to outsource it. Thank you for allowing this episode to come through on your Bluetooth, your car radio, wherever it may be you're listening from today. Now, let's take your wedding business to the next level. Hi, guys, and welcome back to the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast. My name is Nina Adio, and I am excited to be here with you talking about the wedding industry, social media marketing, and anything else that comes up. For example, on yesterday's episode 111, I hinted about that I was using a new platform, something that I was trying where you take a long form video. It can be, let's say, for example, something you recorded on YouTube or on just did a recording from Zoom or whatever it is, and it will automatically splice it up to give you Reels footage to convert it to be the size of a TikTok video or a square size, whatever it is you need. So I am recording these episodes through video, not just audio, so I can continue to use that platform to let you know if I recommend it or not. So you're going to just have to wait a little longer because it's only been one day that I've been using it. But if you head over to my Instagram, you can see how the footage is coming along, and then maybe in a few days I'll do a reveal of what the program is and whether or not I recommend it. So sometimes I like to really test things out for you guys, and then I'll let you know what it is and if I recommend it for your business. So today on the podcast, we are talking about best advice. And this topic comes from my good friend, Latasha James. Latasha James hosts and owns the Freelance Friday Club. It is an online community and platform for aspiring social media managers, service providers, and online creatives. And Latasha hosts a challenge called Bizmas, where once every day leading up to Christmas, you post a prompt. So you could do a still post on Instagram, you could do a YouTube short, or like me, you could do a podcast episode. So the topic today for day 2 is best advice. And I'm going to just do these on the fly. I have not prepared my answers, and that's kind of how we like to do things here. But I thought I would break it down into categories. I did pick the categories. So we will do best advice pertaining to marketing, pertaining to business in general, pertaining to the wedding industry in general, and then we'll do life. Okay, so let's just chat and have some fun. Cheers. Cheers. Okay, so best marketing advice. And I'm going to keep it simple because that is what I feel is the best, right? Marketing is reminding people or letting people know that you exist. Sometimes when we add big terms to things, you have to work on what about your strategy, your marketing, your SEO, your this or that. It can get overwhelming. So instead of saying to yourself, what am I doing with my marketing? What am I doing with my marketing? Say, what am I doing to let people know that I exist? And viewing your marketing in that way can simplify it. How would you answer that question today? What are you doing online, in print, maybe, in person, in general, to let people know that you exist? I would try to consider even writing down that answer. So let's see, because some things I'm doing now, I'll use myself as an example. Okay, I'm networking. I'm going to really excited about it next week. I'm going to an event for wedding planners that a friend of the show, Allie Deniston, is hosting. Actually, our episode with Allie was our top rated one of the year. I just got my Spotify stats in, so that was exciting. Her company is Event Enlightenment, and I'm going to get to meet her. And I'm posting, right? I'm posting on the podcast. I'm posting content from the podcast to my Instagram. I am participating in summits. So, putting all of these things together, I'm sending out an email list. I'm reaching new people by trying different reels. All right, whatever your answers are going to be, those are just some of mine. What I really noticed this month in particular, or last month, November, was that stuff I did months ago, probably even years ago, started paying off now. And this is going to be true for you in the industry too. My ideal sequence is I want people to start to learn who you are even before they're engaged. So then when they're engaged, they already know, right? They're already warmer to you. They're already familiar with you. That trust has already started. And that's what I experienced, that some clients discovered me months ago, maybe years ago, through efforts I was making to let people know I exist. But it wasn't until now, so it's right at engagement season, that they were ready to commit and to invest in their social media. So, what are you doing to let people know that you exist? So let's talk about business advice. What advice do I have for other business owners? I have some friends who own businesses, and it can be really helpful when you talk to one another and kind of compare notes and just realize that we all have these moments sometimes, or these fears or these doubts, and we became business owners for a reason. There was some calling to us. It could be, well, I kind of said, I don't want to work for anybody else ever again. Maybe I'm not user friendly. I wanted to be able to write. So my thought process, well, if I work for myself, I can put in time to write. That didn't really happen. That's not really advice either, but tapping into why you're doing this and being honest with yourself about it. Because what I learned for me was the stresses I had as a business owner were so much more tolerable for me than the stresses I was experiencing as an employee. Those stresses for me were a lot harder and were more challenging for me to manage than the stresses I have had as a business owner. And it's not because those stresses are any less. I'd say they're almost, on the surface, they seem like more, because if I fail as a business owner, I have issues of, rent and disappointing my clients, which takes a lot out of me, but I know that I can do this. And reminding yourself that the end goal isn't necessarily always going to be that it's easier, because what happens is, as you up level, new opportunities come, new experiences come, new things to learn come. And I'm not saying they have to be hard. The more we learn, the easier they can become, but not to run and hide when it gets hard. What I've learned is to embrace that there is discomfort in change. And that may occur with your business too, especially as your business up levels. One of the biggest shifts that many of us I've met in this industry, whether it's through wedding professionals or the service providers, is when it comes time to bring on help. We start to think, nobody can do as well as I can. I might as well just do it. It's too much effort to get someone to think what I think, and so forth. And there is sometimes discomfort in the journey. But what we have to remember is, when we have an employee, they're an investment. We're teaching them how to do what we need them to do. And it may not be there right away, but it's an investment not only in that person, but in your business, in your time, and in your efforts. So let's get a little industry specific now with the best industry advice I have. Now, the people who have been in the industry, this will not pertain to you, but for me, right off the bat, for those looking to get into the industry, to me, it is not something you can fake. It takes the experience and get it any way you can, because that is what becomes invaluable, and you are not able to properly serve people without understanding how the industry works and best practices. You hear horror stories all the time on these blogs of people who get taken advantage of. Essentially, they haven't had to hire event professionals before, and they'll meet someone who maybe isn't really in the industry. They and I don't even mean it industry specific, because I have people who were, and somebody shared a story that they found a photographer for an affordable price, and they didn't even give them a contract, and then didn't get some important footage of the day. And if you're new in the industry, to me, that is no excuse for not having a contract. And with things like Rising Tide Society, there are free places you can go to get advice from people and to get help from people and to learn these things. So my advice is not to shy from getting that experience, asking the things, getting the questions, because as you work in an area, you're going to be working with the same people over and over and over. So establishing those good relationships as soon as you can is going to pay off and pay over for the rest of your career. When you are working a wedding with somebody, even if you're not working with them in the pre-planning stage, but that day you are experiencing sometimes a 12-hour day of just working together. It can be a real bonding experience, and you want to get along with the people you're working with for your own comfort and for the more vanity aspect of referrals and making money and making business. You want to be easy to work with. I guess this is more of people starting out advice, but when you're starting out, I would rather transparency than faking it. When you start a brand new Instagram profile and you put a photo of you and your sister on her wedding day, and you say, I had so much fun working with this bride for her day of coordination. The first 50 people who follow you are going to be your friends and family who know that's your sister. So it's like, you don't need to do that. Instead, say how being at your sister's wedding, planning it top to bottom, inspired you, and you are now looking to work with people in the other area. Go for transparency, go for honesty. And sort of related to this, for those who are the more esteemed long-term professionals, it's a waiting game as you see these new people come. Many times new people come and then they go. Some people come and they stay. Either way, it's okay. Know what makes you you. Know what makes you different. Know what makes your clients different. What's different about your clients than other people's? Let's use the example I had earlier about the person who was not given a contract. That happened to me too. I just didn't know. It was the first vendor I booked, right? And so for you, your clients may be clients who know better. And I don't mean that in a rude way. What I mean is, you know your client avatar, and there's someone who does their research. There's somebody who is hired out professionals before in whatever capacity. Knowing your audience means it's a lot less threatening when somebody else comes who has a different audience, because that's not even going to affect you. That's not even going to touch you. Now, that kind of leads into my last advice piece. The category was life advice. And To me, what helps me in all aspects of life is articulating what I want out of it, being crystal clear on what I want. Because when I don't focus on what I want in my job, for example, then I'm just going through the motions. I'm not attracting new clients because I don't know what I want. Or when I am attracting them, they're not aligned, right? Having that list of my clients, or look, I like my clients to be nice people, right? Because I can pick who I'm going to work with. So I'm not going to work with someone nasty. I don't care what your brand is, right? So that's on my client list, that they're nice people. They're open to my ideas. They're enjoyable to work with. They have established brands. They pay on time. Whatever it is, but make that list about your couples. What's your wish list of couples? And I do this for everything. I did the wish list for my apartment. I did the wish list for my husband. I had little things and big you put on there, and as I would go through other relationships, you would learn some of those big things. So maybe as you go through maybe a client that didn't mesh well with you, you can then better articulate, now I know what I do want. And keep focusing on those things that you do want out of your life, out of your relationships, out of your friendships, out of your business, and out of your work. And you'll be amazed to see that as you have focus, it starts to deliver. So that was Business Day 2. Best advice. Let me know if any of this resonated with you. And don't forget that my panel for the Wedding Summit series on social media and pricing goes live or happens live on Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to watch that live or get the replay, you've got to purchase the VIP ticket, which I'm going to have in the show notes. I also am going to put in the show notes Latasha James's Freelance Friday Club. If you are a service provider, particularly people in the online space, I think you will get a lot from Latasha's group, and I am in there all the time. You can actually, members there can see a presentation I did on niche marketing and how having a niche will be able to help you really catapult your business. So that's over at the Freelance Friday Club. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow for Business Day 3.